Are you a franchisee or thinking about becoming one? It's the American dream, owning your own business, but you need to know the risks. Hey everybody, I'm Benjamin Keck with Keck Legal. Today I want to talk about franchises and the pluses and minuses, right? So the challenge is if you're a franchisee working under a franchise agreement, you don't totally own everything. You don't own the intellectual property, the name, the processes. That's what the franchisor is providing, right? They're giving you the blueprint, the template, and probably some marketing for a price, right? So what do you own? You own, the profit and loss of that business after they get their fee off the top. And almost every franchise agreement I've ever seen is designed to shift almost 100% of the risk from the franchisor to the franchisee. And what a great business model for a franchisor. Imagine this, that you just have people sending you money, right? You don't have to take on the risk of business failure. So if things go great, it's good for everyone, right? So plenty of very profitable franchisees out there making lots and lots of money. And if that's you, you're actually probably not watching this video. If you're watching this video, it's because you have some concerns and you're not sure what to do. Maybe you're thinking about signing this franchise agreement and you need to understand what the risks are. First of all, you absolutely should never sign a franchise agreement without talking to a lawyer first. Guess what? That franchisor, they definitely have a lawyer that drew up those documents. And guess what? Almost none of those documents are favorable to you. So you're going to want to have your own lawyer review them. You're going to want to make sure that you understand all of the things that could go wrong. Now, of course, you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about all the money you're going to make. That's why you need a lawyer, to think about all the things that go wrong. And, when things are great, they're great. But when they go badly, they don't really go very badly for the franchisor. They go horribly badly for the franchisee, because almost every franchise agreement is going to be set up to where they get their money off the top. Their percentage, a lot of franchises I see, they just pull the money right out of the monthly gross revenue and you never even see it. Also, marketing expenses, sometimes, quite often, I see it where you have to buy your inventory from the franchisor or from their designated people, and that all gets paid in advance, so that if you find yourself in a cash crunch where you're trying to figure out who can get paid and who can't, well, guess what? They're getting paid first because they've got things set up to protect themselves. Now you might be in a situation where you can't afford to pay your rent or your mortgage or your people or your taxes, things like that. It can be a very scary situation, and you've got to know what your rights are and what's what you can do about it. And most franchise agreements are, like I said, very much set up in the franchisor's favor, to where if things go wrong, all of the risk is on you. Now, it's possible a franchisor can work with you, and I've seen that, but they don't have to. Usually the franchise agreement just says that, I've seen it as well, where the franchisor can just come in and take over your business. So you spend all this time and effort building a business, and depending on what that franchise agreement says, if you get yourself into trouble where you can't continue operating, they may be able to just step in and take over your business, and you've lost everything. Now, it varies from franchise to franchise. There's some good ones, there's some less good ones. There's some where they might be your landlord too. They may own the building and require you to work out of the building that they own. So now there's another hook where they've got you. So not only are they the franchisor, they're also your landlord. And you can find yourself in a situation where you thought you were going to be a business owner, but you're really more like an employee, where you work for them. And even worse, not only do you work for them to make sure they can make money off of all of your hard work, you've now taken on all of this risk where if things go bad, now you're bankrupt. You've signed personal guarantees for loans and probably some other things where now you could potentially lose everything. So franchises are some of the riskiest businesses that you can possibly get into. And so you need to be aware of that. It seems very easy, and it is very relatively easy as opposed to going out and starting your own business. A franchise can get you up and running relatively quickly, but you've got to understand how much risk you're taking on. If you're signing a franchise agreement, you are probably taking on a tremendous amount of risk, and you absolutely must speak to an attorney to make sure you understand what could happen if things don't go well. If you're here in Georgia, please reach out. Happy to help. We deal with these kinds of issues all the time. This is Benjamin Keck with Keck Legal. Please look us up at www.kecklegal.com. That's www.kecklegal.com. Thanks, everybody.